Activision is in the house and is now officially owned by Microsoft. Welcome, everybody. We're the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community, and Xbox is just absolutely rocking the gaming world. This week is got to be one of the biggest weeks in gaming, at least in the history of this podcast.
Yeah.
For Xbox gamers, it was an absolutely giant week. And let's just jump into the discussion. So, Activision purchased by Microsoft. That's Activision Blizzard, so we get all those titles.
And King.
Yes. Jordan.
3 different studios.
Jordan, give me your initial thoughts, reaction when you heard the news. Where were you when you first saw the news?
I was laying on my couch. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty epic.
Yeah, wow.
And good thing I was already laying down because, it was huge. It was like, at first you almost didn't believe it. You're like, what?
It still doesn't feel real.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Microsoft now owns Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Call of Duty, or I guess proper terminology will own as soon as all the deal goes through.
Yeah.
But I don't have any reservations. I think the deal's going to go through. I don't think any of the antitrust stuff is going to stop it.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't make that announcement.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're a giant, multi-billion, one of the top businesses in the world, you don't make an announcement until everything is set to go. It's not a worry. You've lubed the wheels and greased the bureaucracy so that everything can pass.
You've donated to a few campaigns.
You've donated to who you need to donate to.
You've got it all
You've
going.
got it figured out.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. But no, I was in shock. I almost still am.
Yeah. Initial reaction.
Shock.
No, I mean like
And he
thoughts.
still is.
Yeah, I still am.
Yeah, almost
I mean,
still
thoughts
is.
on it.
Well, excitement because now how many games are we getting that are now going to be on Game Pass? And I'm not just talking about new games.
No.
Activision has a huge backlog. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the
1 and 2.
1 and 2, all the other ones that they now own, bring them all to Game Pass. Basically, you remember what they did to Bethesda when they bought Bethesda? They trickled in games from Game Pass, and then as soon as that deal went all the way through, or it seemed like it anyway, we just got a whole bunch of stuff, including backlog stuff, older games. It was great, and I think that Activision has a much bigger catalog. My wife was actually excited because she used to play a game called Ronnie's Fun Screen.
Oh, okay.
And it's made by Activision.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, neither have I. She's not a real gamer, so I don't know. But anyway.
But she's excited.
But she was like, I told her this, and she was like, do you think they'll bring Ronnie's Fun Screen to the Xbox? And I said, well, I guess anything's possible. So maybe. So, hey, if anybody's listening at Microsoft that now owns Activision, Ronnie's Fun Screen could come to Game Pass.
There you go. McSpicy, where were you when you first heard the news? The great news of 2020.
I was upstairs in that room over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's where I was.
And initial reaction, thoughts, impressions?
Oh, I went, wow. So, it was, yeah,
was like,
wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, that's a lot of dollars.
Took the wind out of you.
And it's all in cash?
Yeah, and then I immediately thought, all right, Hearthstone on my Xbox.
Yes.
And then I immediately went, maybe we'll get a Lost Vikings reboot.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot. And then I started thinking about the whole how it's actually a really, really, really good move for the industry because with Blizzard's whole
Controversies.
spiral down the
Toilet bowl.
it's just like watching someone fall down in slow motion. Over the course of like 3 years, Blizzard has just been having problems after problems. A lot of their core fans started leaving them. We were all disheartened because of everything that kept happening. There's just mistake after mistake. And why this is such a good thing for the industry is all these IPs that could have just been basically destroyed. I mean, like the Twinkie. Remember when the Twinkies went out?
Yeah.
And everybody got nervous. Oh, no, we're not going to have
Twinkie?
Where's Twinkies anymore? And then somebody came in and snatched it, and then we could still have Twinkies. No, it's kind of like, Microsoft is like the fatherly figure,
adult in the room.
parent. Let's say parent in this case. They're the parent. They're okay. Come here. All right. We're gonna make things right, and all these IPs are now basically saved.
Yeah.
They're not going to fall into the cracks. They're not, does that make sense
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
trying
absolutely.
to say? And so we're still going to have these great games that we love, may even have iterations of it later, like the Lost Vikings, like a StarCraft 3, that probably could never have happened otherwise.
I have
real quick. Sorry, talking about the downward spiral. I just have to mention David Brownfield in chat says the downward spyro. See what he did there?
That was good.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Give me your conspiracy.
I think the reason I'm throwing this out there again. If anybody's listening at Microsoft, take this idea and roll with it.
Roll.
Free ideas. I think they bought Activision because they're gonna make their own version of a Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, I would like that.
Yeah.
Wait, explain that. Explain that.
Well, because now you have like over 100
Characters?
IPs of different characters that you can just throw in there.
Which we talked about this on our emergency podcast during the week. How funny is it that they just acquired some
You
of
can put Crash in there.
some of Sony's old
mascots. Yeah.
Like,
Crash.
do you know what you could do? Okay, I was actually thinking about this. Do you remember? Do you remember the Verizon guy? Was he's the Verizon guy?
Yeah.
And
he
then
went to
now he's
Sprint?
the Sprint guy.
Yeah, and that whole commercial was like, I used to be with these guys, but now I know the right place to be is with these guys. And they just bought that actor. This is kind of this. They could totally be like, I was with these guys, and now I'm with the more powerful console.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's
So
happening.
the giant Super Smash.
The irony behind
This whole purchase was just to make that one game.
Just to make one
Just
game.
to
Yeah.
make
one
that
game.
one commercial where Crash comes in and goes, "Hey, I'm with the better console now."
Real quick in chat, Psychotic says, I was in my doctor's office when I first heard it saying, what the, and then my wife hit me. Pokerfraud says, I saw the headline on my Google News feed, then forgot to follow up on it. Then my gaming buddy at work reminded me. Hilarious. I mean, I don't think I will. I was at work myself early in the morning.
Well, and
then Twitter. I have Twitter up because of part of my job, and all of a sudden, I'm like, what is happening? And
It's
whoa.
Well, and we haven't said it yet, but for those that don't know, they bought them for $68 billion
with a
all
B.
cash.
Round up. It was 69.
70 billion.
Go to 70 with tax.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Which, okay, at these kind of deals, is there like, you know what, realtors get like a 1% commission?
Oh, everybody and their mother probably takes a little bit off the top for something. Lawyers
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it a percentage thing? Because at 68 billion, isn't 1% of 68 billion
$6 million.
$6 million for
Or is
just
it 60 million?
I think it's 60 million,
60
just to
million.
get somebody to sign the
And a
sign the
realtor fee
paperwork.
is what, 3%?
Yeah. Like, is there somebody like in this that's like putting on the sunglasses? Da 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 da.
Lawyers.
You know,
Yeah,
lawyers.
Yeah,
Oh,
lawyers.
that man.
Giant law firm.
I want to be that person that
Some
just for like what, like 3 months work maybe with making sure all the paperwork's good, that you walk away with $60 million.
Some giant
Yeah.
announcement.
I
and,
want that.
And another thing it says is Microsoft and Xbox is not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, I think that amount of money is proof enough that they're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, I think it shows how serious they
Yeah.
are about Game Pass. This entire deal, a lot of people, speculation about what's going to be exclusive, what's not going to be exclusive. I think all of that's irrelevant because what is going to happen is all of these games are going to be on Game Pass, and there's going to be value there. You talk about the greatest value in gaming today. Now imagine after this deal goes through, how big this is. But put this in perspective. We talked about this earlier this week. This is Call of Duty is PlayStation's #2 most popular game. Right off the bat. Phil Spencer, actually, what do you think about this? Phil Spencer came out
tweet?
yesterday.
Oh my gosh! Hold up, David.
Okay, go ahead.
It's 1% is 680 million.
Well, we were off.
I want to be that
by a
guy.
whole decimal.
600. Thank you, chat, for the quick math lesson.
We were off by a whole decimal. That's why we're not math
now
people.
600 million is far better than 68.
Yes.
68.
Nate
million.
did indeed do the monster math.
Thank
there
you.
for us.
I saw that in chat, and then I pulled up my calculator over here, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
So
that person made out big. All right, sorry.
Phil Spencer tweeted out that he had a good call with this week with the leaders at Sony, and he confirmed. Can I just read it out loud to everybody?
read it out loud.
He says, I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry, and we value our relationship. Now this I think people are reading into this, and it's very specific language. For instance, the word existing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened with Bethesda. We will honor any existing deals. Eventually, all these games, I believe, are going to go exclusive.
Yeah.
Now, with the exception of, I think, Warzone. Warzone is going to be treated like a Minecraft or a
Yeah.
Fortnite and will just always be on all platforms. But Call of Duty, main...
No, I think you're right, and I mean, it's like it says. It's interesting that he says all existing agreements, and then he talks about Call of Duty. So I think they're like this year's Call of Duty, and I would guess even next year's Call of Duty will probably go both or all systems, because I assume next year's Call of Duty is pretty far in production as well.
Yeah.
But I think maybe 2024 Call of Duty. I think you're right. I think eventually mainline Call of Duty goes Game Pass only, so not necessarily Xbox console exclusive, but Game Pass exclusive, and then Warzone stays everywhere.
No, yeah,
because
there is no such thing as console wars. In fact, let me read this from It's Mint. This is one of his questions that he wrote in on our mail sec. He said, "Hey bros, as always, I look forward to tonight's show. Thank you, It's Mint. Obviously, there's only one topic of discussion, so I will leave you with this quote: It's not a console war, it's a games war. Discuss." I think he's one. The console war is over. Microsoft just shut the door on the console war. It is a games war.
Yeah.
It is a game subscription war. And right now, Microsoft has no competition. We know PlayStation is jumping into the ring and will announce their subscription service. This deal, I mean, just puts Microsoft so far ahead of any competition. It's going to be interesting to see what like a PlayStation does in response to this, because I do think if you're going to jump into the subscription space, you do need to respond. What will their response be? Phil Spencer having this call with Sony, I also think indicates a shifting of leadership in the gaming industry. Sony, I think, has been viewed as the leader, even throughout the 360. I think Sony is seen as the more mature gaming company. With how successful Microsoft did with the 360, if you remember, Sony caught up by the end of that generation.
They did. Yeah, they did.
And they just dominated last generation.
Funny enough, I think it was with PlayStation 2s that helped them catch up.
Yeah. And with this, I think Sony has always been seen as like Microsoft is competing with Sony. Sony's not necessarily competing with Microsoft. I think this is a shifting of leadership in the landscape. I think that phone call represents that. And I just think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Also, do you think Game Pass, do you have leverage to put Game Pass on PlayStation, or is that just crazy talk?
Well, if you get Game Pass on PlayStation, do you think that defeats the purpose of PlayStation?
Defeats the purpose. What do you?
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's.
I mean,
I don't
that
know.
is a philosophical question.
Well, no,
What is
maybe
the
that's
purpose
that
of
probably
PlayStation?
I don't know. It made sense in my head. Like, if Sony allows Game Pass on PlayStation, do you think that's like, I guess, what's the word for it? Game over? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I don't think. I mean,
they still have
put it on there.
No, I don't think they would either.
I think what's going to be an uphill battle for Sony after this acquisition is if the rumors about Project Spartacus are true and what they're going to do with their streaming service. Because if you're Microsoft, and I think there was a question in chat earlier, a good question saying you wouldn't have Sony pay for COD, and I would say why? Why make them pay for it when you can just put it on your Game Pass? And
no, here's the thing with Warzone. Warzone is just a cash cow.
Yeah,
and you want that to be
Call of Duty,
to be as many places as you can. But Call of Duty campaign, I think you put behind Game Pass, and you give some kind of benefit for Warzone even being on Game Pass. Like, yeah, you can play Warzone anywhere, but you get 25 free levels if you play on Game Pass every season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spicy, give me your thoughts on it's no longer a console war; it's a game war.
I mean, here's the thing with Sony. They are an exclusive game console. Like their single player campaigns are you can't really beat them. You know?
I agree with that.
Yeah,
God of
they're
War, Spider-Man.
really good.
We've talked about it a lot on the show.
Zero Dawn, Days Gone,
Horizon. Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's. I mean, that's still a great strength. A lot of people love those games, me included. I think that's a really, really great strength. So I don't. Just saying that they've lost is. I don't know if I totally agree.
Well,
with
so
that.
I don't think it's saying that they've lost. I think.
Wait, what do you mean? Well,
So the console war is over. It's now a game
so
war.
explain that then, because maybe I don't understand what that means.
So, for instance, Xbox is not concerned about selling consoles. They're concerned about selling Game Pass subscriptions.
Correct? Yeah, well, yeah.
Sony
exactly.
is jumping into that as well in March, probably. That looks to be where the future's going. I mean, we already do it with television, movies, every other entertainment, music. It just makes sense that gaming is that. And so it's all about who has the best game options on their subscription service.
Okay.
And Sony, like you said, has a very quality library, obviously, world class, world tier.
Yeah.
But I think you're not just looking at quantity or quality, you also need quantity. And with this purchase, I mean, you get quality and quantity.
Yeah, because
and you've got Bethesda, and you've got future releases. This will pay off more in the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, than the immediate next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, because would Microsoft allow those Activision games to be on other subscription services? Right? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
look at Disney. They had all their stuff all over the place, and then they slowly started pulling their stuff back to Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of how it is, you know.
I mean, this definitely is a very hard blow to Sony. I mean, look at the stock of Sony this
I
last
think they
week.
lost $20 billion.
Yeah.
Well, look at the stock of Blizzard.
Well,
it
shot up.
Yeah. And
what's
funny
fu-
enough,
yeah,
Microsoft went down a little bit.
and like, yeah, the parent brought
Microsoft
up
pulled them up, but in doing so, pulled itself down a little.
just a little, just a little. Man, yeah, Sony definitely. I mean, Microsoft for the last 3, I would say. I mean, this probably has been in play for a very, very, very long time. Microsoft got very serious when they were embarrassed, like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Since their not acquisition, although it's always
Really, since Phil Spencer took
that's
over.
exactly what I was
It's
going to
been
say.
a different
Mindset,
feel,
yeah.
a different
That's
aura.
that's when things got serious. Is when they put Phil Spencer in charge, and I'm everything that Phil has done for the last 7 years. I don't even know how long he's been the head of Xbox, but we've talked about it before. It's been like this grease board where they're like, okay, what don't we have? What do we need? And they've just been lining things up, checking things off, methodically going through and basically playing a chess match and making sure that they
3D chess.
3D chess, yeah. And I feel like Sony, honestly, I get the impression that they kind of felt like they were on top. I mean, I always talk about the purple tie guy. And he had like a smugness to him that I like my PlayStation. I like Sony, but it was just like we can't fail because we're on top type thing. That's kind of the impression I got.
Well, and that's what happened to Microsoft with the Xbox One.
Yeah,
they had all that success with the 360 and kind of
and yeah, I feel
lost their way a little bit.
I feel
guess.
like it has finally kind of caught up to Sony in a very, very heavy way, and. I mean, how long has Game Pass been around now? Is it 2-3 years now?
3 years, maybe.
3 years,
coming
yeah.
up,
Coming
three?
up 3 years. That has been a lot of time for Sony not to do something to kind of
Yeah.
respond.
Well, and
I guess
Sony-
respond
Sony-
in their way.
In Sony's defense, they have done a few things like, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it under the radar. Like they went out and they bought Insomniac.
Yeah.
So they have Insomniac now. Rumor is that they locked up Final Fantasy for the next little while from Square Enix. It's just that, and then $68 billion acquisitions. It's just, I think Microsoft it's just not to say that Insomniac and Square Enix, if the Square Enix stuff is true, is not good for Sony, but I think because Microsoft just bought an entire publisher for a lot of
That's
money.
almost-
it's taking. It's yeah.
Do you know what's funny? I think it's almost, isn't it close to what they're valued at? PlayStation?
I think Sony, I think is sitting at like 80 billion or something.
So
like
yeah,
that.
80 billion. They just bought somebody worth 70.
Because what everybody was looking at everybody's net worth and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right? And
Which is, interesting to see all that stuff. But I don't know, David, to answer your question, I think Sony got hurt pretty bad. I think they probably should have started doing some moves before this.
And they might be in process of moves we just don't know about. in
Well, I'm
fairness.
sure they're definitely having meetings this weekend.
Yeah, what is that?
I'm sure they're
What
working
is
on the
that-
weekend of this week.
Yeah, what is that morning like? I wonder. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that.
Yeah, the guy just gets
meeting.
up and turns on his TV and like, what?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Real quick, anomalous visions. There we go. In chat says Microsoft should throw money to expanding the reach of Game Pass next, especially here in Asia, particularly Southeast Asia. Well, I think actually
interesting, yeah.
Blizzard kind of in a way accomplishes that with games like StarCraft.
Yeah, Blizzard has a big foothold in Asia, I think. So this is definitely a move towards that for sure.
And StarCraft's Mikey Barra went over to Blizzard.
Yeah.
Now he's back to Microsoft. Welcome back to Microsoft, Mr. Mikey Barra.
Yeah.
But this week, someone tweeted at him and said, "Will you be bringing back StarCraft?" And his response, smiley face emote. That's it. And I think there's a reason when you look at Microsoft's announcement, StarCraft is on there.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is, it never made sense to me why Blizzard decided to no longer support StarCraft.
Money.
But it's huge.
Yeah, but you make more money with Hearthstone and Warcraft. You know what I mean?
And so I think
Overwatch was. I think
I do
dominating at the
think
time, right?
StarCraft gives you that in Korea, for South Korea, for instance,
Yeah.
huge there. You can jump back into the esports space. I think Microsoft has shown that they want to do that, and that's the direction they're going with Halo and the Pro League right now for Halo. I think this is just the beginning of that. Can you imagine if they're firing on all cylinders with esports, Game Pass, and they just own this whole entire ecosystem of gaming? I think they view it all as one, and there's a lot of money to be made in esports, especially esports done right. And StarCraft, StarCraft can fill stadiums.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's exciting about that is, games like StarCraft, even going back to the classic backlog games, we might get StarCraft and Brood War on Game Pass now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
War, yeah.
What I'm really excited about is having those games like StarCraft, which I already own, but having them come over to Game Pass, any future games coming to Game Pass. What I'm really interested in is what they're going to do with World of Warcraft. And don't we have a question about that?
Oh, we have
World of
many.
Warcraft,
We
yeah.
have many questions on World of Warcraft. Real quick, just want to shout out our 2 super chats. OGB Fit says, "I would love if Xbox bought Bandai Namco. That is one of the rumors out there, and we'll talk about who they should purchase next." And then Psychotic Kevin says, "Maybe the new StarCraft is more WoW based and not real.
They
real-time strategy."
make a StarCraft MMO.
Yeah, that was in the rumors as well for a while.
Yeah.
From Blizzard. So maybe, you never know. But to our question on WoW, where is our question on WoW, Jordan? We had so many questions this week.
Yeah.
In fact, Black Knight just said, "What a time to be alive." Now with Activision Blizzard acquired by Microsoft, I asked this: will we see StarCraft 3? Spicy, what do you think? Do they just support this StarCraft, or do we get a next generation StarCraft?
No, we'll definitely get a next generation.
And we won't have to wait
StarCraft.
20 years.
Maybe
Okay,
maybe.
that
RTSs, I think, are really difficult to develop because of balancing
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of stuff. I
That
think the good ones take time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, when StarCraft 2 came out, there was a lot of, given we were playing a game from the 90s, but there was a lot of awesome features that they added into StarCraft 2 that really made the quality of life of the game better.
Oh, yeah.
But again, we were playing
For us casual players.
We were playing a game from the 90s. So, there's
Yeah.
Luke Hancock writes in and says, "It's been a slow news week, so I guess something really random like, is WoW coming to Xbox?"
and that we've been talking about that. Look, I'm always a fan of MMOs going to as many places as possible because it only helps the MMO community. Final Fantasy, I think, does it the best. They have it on all platforms minus the Xbox, but they don't split their communities. It is all one community that plays together. If you're playing on a PlayStation, you can play with a PC person, no problem, group up, dungeons, whatever. I really wish ESO would do this.
They may in the future.
Yeah, they may.
Now that they've been acquired by Microsoft.
I really wish they would do this because if you think about it, when you have a game like ESO, you do have one overall community, but then you also have 3 separate communities, and I think joining those communities together just makes the game that much better. It makes the worlds feel more alive because everybody's, you got a bigger player base to pull from. World of Warcraft come to the console, I would love to see it. I think that would be fantastic. I know it's possible on controller. I've seen someone even in chat talked about the API for many of the on controllers for many years. I know it's possible. We all know it's possible to put it on the controller because Final Fantasy does it, and Final Fantasy does it very well. And Final Fantasy has the same UI and a similar amount of abilities that you can bind to the controller, and it works fine. The way they do it, all you need to do is take time and effort and spend a couple weeks on it, and you can make it, or just copy Final Fantasies. They've already done it for you.
Yeah, think about this. This is what blows my mind. So the top 3 MMOs at any given time are Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, and ESO. Microsoft now owns 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So what I'm very excited about, I hope it does come to the console. I think it would do nothing but benefit World of Warcraft if it comes to the console. Whether Microsoft and Activision and Blizzard think it's worth the investment or not, that's what we'll have to wait and find out. But I'm excited to see what they do with World of Warcraft and Game Pass. If the acquisition goes through and they own it, does World of Warcraft come to Game Pass? I would assume it does. And at that point, does your Game Pass subscription now supplement the World of Warcraft
most definitely
subscription?
does.
You know what
That's
I mean?
how-
If you pay for Game Pass, you automatically have a WoW subscription.
So how many?
That would be huge.
How many players are currently in WoW? Even on their down, they're still in the millions or close to the
I would
millions?
assume at least 1 million.
Yeah.
But,
Imagine that incentive. How many do you pull off by saying, hey, it's $14.99 to subscribe monthly to WoW, or you can take that $14.99 and subscribe to Game Pass, and you get WoW, and you get all these other games.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what this deal is. Everybody, this deal is Game Pass, 100%.
Yeah.
That's all this deal is about. I said this, for those of you that don't know, we did a quick video this week where we all reacted the day that it happened. Go check it out on YouTube. But on that video, I said they've Netflixed gaming before any competition came in.
Yeah.
So Netflix... If Netflix would have been creating its own shows and buying production studios and the whole shot before anyone else jumped into the show, Netflix may be the only one alive today. I feel like Xbox sees that in gaming and has just jumped the ship really quickly.
Yeah.
And has that first mover advantage, unlike anything we've seen in a long time. I mean, wow. They have like iPhone first mover advantage type of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's really, I'm really excited to see what they do with the PC games like Hearthstone, even Heroes of the Storm. Do we get that on console? I mean, that would actually be a very
that would
actually
awesome.
be. I think that game in particular, because of the way the camera
And
is and the
does
way your
it-
characters move.
Do they revive it too?
Yeah,
That's one that
I mean, now-
think they
now
had
you
the
got
right
a MOBA.
They had the right idea. The bones were correct there. The
Just need-
implementation wasn't necessarily the
Yeah.
best. You could fix that and smash it.
and Heroes of the Storm would play really well on a controller.
I agree 100%.
Because of just because it would be a similar setup to like a Diablo type game, not because they're both like isometric, but it would feel really good on the controller. And again, you make that crossplay between PC. I mean, there's a lot you can do, and there's a lot. I mean, this is all hearsay, right? Because we don't know exactly what they're gonna do or what's gonna happen, but it's just exciting to think about.
Yeah. Shout out to Super Chat. Super Shocker says, "Made it. I can't stand Call of Duty, but with this news, I might free up 75 gigs to download again. It won't be enough. You'll need another.
You'll need another
25 gigs
the
right there."
game is huge.
Super Shocker, thank you for the Super Chat.
Like that's one game I wouldn't mind if they compressed some of the audio or something like that.
Yeah,
'Cause
compress
just-
it. Who cares?
It's just taking up a lot of space.
We got a
Yeah.
question from both Greg Pabin and Reckham, and they both basically write in and say, "Who's next? What gets purchased next?"
I don't know. Well, I mean,
Everything's on the table now. And here's the
Yeah.
thing that's crazy. Let me ask Spicy this. Do you think this is the last purchase?
Oh, no.
No, yeah, definitely
No.
not. That's what's crazy.
You could have thought Bethesda was the last purchase for a measly $8 billion.
Obviously.
No, it's I don't think so. I mean, you still have Bandai Namco, you still have Square Enix, you still have Nintendo.
Sega.
yeah, no,
I'm just kidding.
the gaming industry is huge, right?
Yeah.
Which again is also why I don't think they're going to have issues with the antitrust laws, because I mean, think of how many developers and publishers are out there. So you also have Amazon and Google who are now in the space too, which are giant companies.
Oh, yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like I really don't think you're going to have trouble with
it's
those
huge.
antitrust laws because of how big the gaming space
Yeah,
is.
Sega, Pokefraud in chat says Sega. That's a really big one because Sega has a lot of
A
IPs.
lot of titles.
That's a
Well,
lot
and they
of
got
and
they got
that's-
Sonic.
Yeah, and they got Sonic. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
And that is the rumor that has been floating around for a while, that it is Sega. That the rumor is for those of you that are new or haven't listened in a while, the rumor is that Microsoft has been actively pursuing a Japanese publisher, and that they want one in their library. And Sega and Bandai Namco both have come up multiple times.
Yeah.
But Sega in particular has come up, and we even went through their library, and it is hundreds.
Maybe what they do is they
of
buy
games.
they buy Konami, hire Hideo Kojima, and make more Metal Gear Solid games.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think a big ball move, a BDE move,
Yeah.
would be Square Enix.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's not off the table. Also, though, let's say you don't go Japanese. Let's say you go Ubisoft or EA. I think EA might be the bigger move.
But the thing is I feel like they have such a friendly relationship with EA. Like, why spend money on stuff you already know that you kind of got locked down?
It's easier to sleep with your friend than a stranger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I
What?
guess you're right.
What is it?
Yeah,
You're not
it
wrong.
is. It is. I've tested this theory.
I guess you're not wrong. So.
Yeah. I don't
No,
know.
but think about EA. If a big purchase like an EA happened, you get FIFA. I mean that alone international huge.
Yeah,
You
that's
get
huge,
Apex Legends. You get Battlefield. You own every first person shooter on the planet. You're competing with yourself for. You've got Doom, you've got Halo, and you've got Call of
Yeah,
Duty.
maybe at
might
a
as well throw in Battlefield.
At a certain point, I guess you have to start thinking about competing with yourself, right? So,
But with a subscription service, you're not.
yeah.
You're just what you're trying to do with the subscription service. You're not worried about what game outsells which game. You want to have as much variety as possible so that everyone comes into
to your
your
service,
service.
yeah.
I said this during the week on our emergency show. You want 200 million people spending $20 on you a month.
Exactly.
That's what you want. Then you become rich.
Yeah.
Or I
That's
guess they
how
already
you
are
do it.
rich. You become more successful. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, really interesting. I think what's crazy about the question of who do they go for next with this purchase, it's like, I mean, we had joked about Activision before and Blizzard.
We had thought 7 billion or 8 billion was a lot of
Yeah,
money.
we're thinking there's no way you go above what you did with Bethesda. That's a big boy deal.
That's one of the biggest. Yeah.
And they times 10 that.
Yeah.
Wow. Good math.
Yeah.
No, this is good. I think it's good for obviously Microsoft and Xbox. I think it's really good for Game Pass. Because like Mark said earlier, I think it's good for Blizzard and Activision because I think Microsoft will come in and basically have a basic do's and don'ts list. You know, don't get drunk at work.
Yeah.
Do work.
Do work.
Yeah.
That's
Don't.
that's a good do.
Don't harass each other
Yeah.
sexually.
Yeah. Come up with fun ideas for games. You know, just a basic do's and don'ts list that, you know,
Don't-
normal human society really
Don't-
kind of
Don't publicly throw people who love and play your game and stream to millions of people under the bus.
yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
Do send out happy tweets.
Do encourage more of that. What? So
Don't
obvious.
insult your
it's-
fans.
It's more or less the basic, you know, everyday do's and don'ts list. Be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poke Fraud brought up a good point on who do they go after next. Take-Two. Take-Two
Rockstar.
would be huge because Take-Two just purchased Zynga.
That's right.
And
They
Zynga
did.
owns the mobile space. I mean, they don't own it, but they are
They don't
very
own King.
successful in the mobile space. And that would be huge for Microsoft. Not only that, but you do get sports franchises in there as well as Rockstar's Take-Two, right?
Yep. They're owned by Take-Two.
You get a lot.
I believe
Borderlands?
is Gearbox is Gearbox owned by Take-Two or does Take-Two just
Poker Fraud
publish
says they're
Gearbox
evaluated
games?
at $11 billion. Let's give them 21 and call it
Yeah.
a day.
And it's still probably not that much.
Well, they
Yeah.
purchased but they did just purchase Zynga for $12 billion. So I don't think Take-Two is up for sale. Take-Two doesn't make that kind of purchase if they're looking to get out. They make that kind of purchase if they're looking to further their own interests.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that is off the table. However, if that happens, that would be huge. That would be absolute. Oh, Zynga was $11 billion. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's what
it's-
Poker Fraud was saying. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
exciting.
that's what they got Zynga for.
It's exciting for Game Pass, and I mean, look, would it be nice if every game was everywhere for everybody to play? Yeah, probably, but I don't think that's going to happen, and I think a lot of these games are going to start slowly shifting over to be exclusive to Game Pass.
It would also be nice if money grew on trees. But
It
that
would,
also
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
happen.
I know, exactly, right? So if you put it this way, I said this earlier this week, if you have an Xbox sitting on your shelf, you're in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Good question, Greg and Reckham. Thank you very much for writing in. Eric McKee writes in and says, long-time listener, first-time question. Yeah,
All right.
Eric. He says, of course this has to do with the obvious Activision Blizzard acquisition. What I have been running into is finding it hard to actually spend money on games because I know eventually they will probably be on Game Pass. Do you think Microsoft buying game studios the way they have been going is going to hurt the overall sales of games since they will be free to Game Pass subscribers? Love listening each week on my way to work. Keep up the good content. Thank you very much, Eric McKee. Spicy, we talked about this earlier this week. Does this hurt overall game sales?
So, no, I'm just going to tell you, I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because what basically Microsoft has told us with this model that they've gone for, and what we know about what's happening with this. What they have seen is that those that are on Game Pass, remember, they're paying money per month to be on Game Pass in the first place. And I actually don't know how they divvy out to their developers the money. I don't know how that works, but we know that there is money coming in from the subscription service itself. Now, Microsoft has said that they have found that those that get the game on Game Pass end up spending more money in certain things within the game than they would have otherwise. So not only are people ending up paying money for the subscription first, but they are for DLC, for example, because you don't get DLC generally in Game Pass. Sometimes you get like a Game of the Year edition, which includes all those. But people will end up buying the DLC, etc., and getting more and more things with actual money involved as well. So, what I'm trying to say is, Microsoft definitely is showing that they make more money in this model. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know I
Yeah.
went on a really big spicy.
And what
tangent,
this may change in the future with this acquisition, but weren't they saying they still actually make quite a bit of money off purchases,
individual game purchases.
individual game purchases? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's true too. Yeah,
and that was, I think, just this week they said
I
that,
think
or
yeah.
the
I think it
previous
was
week,
Phil?
last week or something. Yeah.
Did Phil Spencer say that? Microsoft already still makes is it their number one source of revenue?
I believe so.
The number one source of revenue is from purchased download digital games.
This is from the recent New York Times interview that Phil Spencer
that was
did,
last
where
week.
they
Yeah.
talked about it.
So to answer that question, I don't think that's the case. I think if anything, this model increases cash flow, like revenue.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, great question, Eric. I think that it kind of goes, it's kind of counterintuitive, but when you think about it, I do think it makes sense because how often do we refer to it? Guys, and it's free on Game Pass.
Yeah,
Even
which
though
is funny. It's a
even though
psychology thing.
Yeah, even though it's not free on Game Pass. Like you're paying for it.
$15 a month.
But
Well,
it's just that you're getting, it feels free because of all the games that you have access to for such a low price. Great question. It's Stu writes in and says, "Hey bros, we are all super excited about this latest Xbox acquisition news, but what I want to know is what you bros think is the key thing still missing from Xbox."
Oh, I know what it is. I think we talked about it earlier in chat today. Microsoft, and I do agree with this statement. Microsoft, I think they're getting there, but I don't think they're quite there yet. They don't have anything to compete with Sony's Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Uncharted series, even Days Gone. You know, that single player cinematic story experience, Sony does far better than anybody else in the industry, I think.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, don't get me wrong, like the new Halo campaign is awesome and it was my game of the year last year, but the Halo campaign, as awesome as it was, just the cinematic adventure of like Uncharted 4 or God of War is just it's above and beyond. Like it's really good. And I just don't think Microsoft has an answer to that yet.
Yeah, I think they're set up for that though.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
with Bungie and now with this acquisition,
Bungie.
Not with Bungie.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, I know.
This
Maybe
just-
they,
check this
maybe they
just
buy
in.
back Bungie.
No, sorry, with Bethesda. Got my B's mixed up. But the
Well,
comment
and Ninja Theory with
and Ninja
Helm.
Theory,
yeah.
yeah. Brad Lecomte though wrote about it earlier in chat, and he said, "Still, I don't think Microsoft has that game that rivals God of War,
Exactly, I
Horizon
agree.
Zero Dawn, and Spider-Man. They have a lot more of slightly lesser splendid games now." But he says, "I hope Fable, Starfield, etc. changes that."
Yeah.
I think that's spot on. Jordan, I think you're right as well. That is exactly what they're missing is this iconic single player next level.
Well, and that's
game.
why I think Insomniac was such a good purchase because they put out good games. They're in charge of. They're basically in charge of Marvel, and we didn't even mention that Sony has purchased a lot of rights to these Marvel stuffs like Wolverine. I mean, that's gonna hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a PlayStation, so I'll be playing it. But I mean, you're a
Yeah.
big fan of Wolverine, so you're gonna get it on the PlayStation.
100%,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I mean, Sony. I do think Sony's making moves. They in comparison, they seem like smaller moves, but they're doing what they do best, and that's that single player campaign experience.
World-class.
Yeah.
See, and I think
world class is a good word for
I
it.
think
yeah.
it's more than just being iconic, David. The games themselves just their art.
They are.
You know how like God of War, all one camera shot, starting out on the menu with him about ready to hit the tree, and that's where the game starts, and it's one fluid, continuous camera throughout the entirety of the game, and the
there's
story.
never a cut. It's
And the voice acting, it is a work of art that is far beyond
So
other games.
In saying that, we did talk about PlayStation subscription earlier, and what do they do? Can they live off of just those titles with their subscription service? Are
I mean,
those
don't get me
titles
wrong,
that good?
That helps.
Yeah.
You know, that helps a lot. And then you
No.
got other games that we haven't talked about, like Ghost of Tsushima, which I would. Well, I did buy
What
again. You know, or-
Go ahead, Spicy. You were going to say something in response?
No, when you said "is that enough?" With Sony, it has been enough up until now.
Interesting. Yeah.
They're really, really good. I mean, I think we saw God of War. I could be wrong. I'm just probably gonna
Yeah, it
throw.
was like 4 years prior to it actually came out, or 3 years.
That was their entire E3. It basically was the flagship E3 moment for 5 years running for Sony. They put all their cards on that game with obvious, for obvious reasons. But I think Sony they plant their feet right where these games are, and I think it's a strong strategy to have these kind of games where you can only play on that system.
Yeah.
That we've been told it was the EA guy. I can't remember his name, but he said he was the head of Xbox before Phil Spencer. I can't remember his name.
Peter Moore.
Yes, he said good games sell, bad games don't. You know, and good games sell consoles, and I think that is.
And now subscriptions.
Well, yeah, yes, but I don't know. It's hard for my brain to calculate all the the numbers in front that go like that. But it still is a very strong strategy. I feel that you have games like God of War, you have games like Spider-Man, you have games like Uncharted, you have games like The Last of Us. You have those kind of games that you can only play on a PlayStation. I still feel that is going to sell consoles.
Yeah, I agree. And sell subscription passes more.
But
More
see,
accurate.
here's the thing: is that at the level that 200 million people paying you $20 a month has?
No. I
See,
think Call
and
of
I
Duty
think-
is. Remember the statistic? How many Call of Duty players only play Call of Duty?
Yeah, that's
and how many Call of Duty players, even if they hate what they see, buy the new game?
Yeah,
You remember when?
Yeah.
It was the space one.
Spicy's a recovering Call of Duty addict.
I
Yeah,
am.
he is.
Yes.
Mark, why don't you play this game? No, the Call of Duty came out.
Well, I missed like 5
did.
years of StarCraft
Yeah.
because I was just playing Call of Duty.
No, but Call of Duty is the #1 selling game on the planet, and you now own it. And see, I
Yeah.
think it's more. Yes, having those big boy hitters is important to round out your library, but this Call of Duty.
yeah.
Now, not to mention, you're not just getting Call of Duty. We're talking as if Call of Duty is the entire thing. You're getting all of these other games. I mean, how many StarCraft players only play StarCraft? How many WoW players only play WoW?
Yeah.
And you're getting all of those in I think that this is a next level subscription move.
See, and I almost wonder, like, once everything goes through and Microsoft is fully in charge and all the pre-existing stuff is over and it's their call. I was just thinking about this week too. Does Call of Duty stay an annual release, or do you go every other year, kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Because what I was talking about earlier this week, not only do we have all these games, we have studios like Raven, Beanox, High Moon, right, who are all support studios on Call of Duty. What if you took them and let them do their own thing, and then just Infinity Ward and Treyarch just do every 2 years or something? You know what I mean?
Go every other year.
Yeah, instead of having a Call of Duty every year, we get a Call of Duty in 2022, and then we get a Call of Duty in 2024, and then you know what I mean, or something.
I mean, that's interesting, and it's probably the best idea.
But money,
But that's the thing. Why do that when you don't need to?
Yeah, I guess you're probably right.
Because we know that Call of Duty players, like we just discussed, will
buy it
it regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't know, David. So I think it's the scalable revenue has just shifted a lot, and I think Sony is still probably going to. Let's say they maintain the same numbers that they're getting. I don't think that they're going to even come close to what Microsoft potentially can grab.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm looking at Call of Duty numbers here right now, and what's interesting, so this is just on the PlayStation Network. Remember, Call of Duty is the number 2 sold game on PlayStation. 50. Then basically what they're saying is data shows that many people play Call of Duty campaign as play Warzone. Listen to this statistic: 51% of players on PlayStation that start the campaign complete the first mission. Out of that, 46% of all players who begin the campaign finish the campaign. That's huge.
Yeah, that's actually
It's actually really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Especially
I thought it'd be a lower number because multiplayers you're selling.
on top of that. Listen to this:
Yeah.
47% of players who play multiplayer also play campaign. Also a huge number. The average person in Call of Duty Warfare or Modern Warfare is monthly 10 million.
What? The average
The average monthly active player in Call of Duty Warzone is 10 million.
So they have a player base of 10 million
a
per
month,
month.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, that's a big number.
yeah.
That's more than a lot of MMOs out there.
Yeah, it's a huge and so now you just made with Call of Duty, you're Microsoft, just Call of Duty. We're not even talking about World of Warcraft. We're not talking about any other thing, anything else that you just obtained in this deal. Just Call of Duty. Those are all potential customers. What percentage of those do you get? It depends how you do your subscription service.
Imagine the earning calls that we're gonna hear about now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. That makes me feel sad about my life. My life
And how
decisions, how much I don't make.
Yeah, that sums it up for me.
Great question. It's Stu. We've got a few questions left. Let's go Michael Whitman. Michael Whitman writes in and says, Microsoft has made some awesome purchases, but Sony, Facebook, and now Apple have been reportedly making moves in the VR space. With the amount of Oculus given as gifts this last Christmas, do you think Xbox are concerned? Do you think Microsoft are going to jump in and come out with a new headset? Are they going to use their new studios to develop in the space or continue to ignore it altogether? If we had more heavy hitter titles like Valve or Microsoft making AAA VR titles, the space would be a lot better. Why not put Valve on the shopping list as well? Love the show as always, guys. So I actually do think Valve is on the shopping list because with Valve you get Steam.
I think Valve, two things, because I think Valve talks about money in the billions of revenue per month, right? So they're bigger than you think. Yeah. And I also think Val and Gabe Newell, who I like, I think they're too stubborn to sell. I don't think that's their.
Yeah.
I think they're funny enough. I just if you ever have like seen how Steam came to be and like interviews with like Gabe Newell and stuff, I think they're too stubborn. They're not. I don't think. I mean, Microsoft may want to buy them. I do not think they would ever sell. I just don't think Steam would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're too stubborn to sell. Like I think.
And they're already rich.
Yeah, and they're talking billions per month.
What about
right?
what about VR though? Do you think Microsoft needs to get in the VR space? What do you think of that?
I think the Oculus did it. The thing is like I would like to play like VR and stuff and Half-Life Alyx, but VR is really expensive to jump into. And you have to have a computer that can run it.
Well,
and
not
all this
anymore
stuff.
with
yeah,
the new
with
Oculus.
I think Facebook.
$299?
I think Facebook's moving in the right direction with it, making it more accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
And I think once you get that down, then you have the influx of developers coming to it. You have better games coming to it. You know what I mean?
But so does Microsoft need to jump in or no?
Well, I mean, if they just, I think they just wait till someone does it and then buy them. I mean, at this point, that's all you really got to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're experimenting with
Why
stuff.
waste R&D?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're experimenting with stuff. I mean, yeah, at a company as big as Microsoft, you'd be foolish not to experiment with stuff, and we've seen that with they kind of jumped a little bit more into AR with the HoloLens, and I'm sure they're experimenting with different VR stuff, but whether they're doing that just to see how it's working or whether they're doing that because they want to make their own, I don't think they make their own. I think they kind of maybe just publish on VR or, again, just wait till VR kind of gets bigger, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a hard question.
What do you think? Do they need to jump into the VR space?
No.
Why?
Because, all right, this is probably my personal bias with VR going to shine a little bit. I've said it a million times. I think VR, for the good games on VR, I feel like you need to be stationary. Unless you have...
The exception of like a Beat Saber.
No, you're stationary.
Oh, you are stationary.
You
You're
are
just moving,
stationary. Yeah, you're just moving your hands and you lean. You know, leaning's okay. I feel like VR, any game where you walk around or have movement with your movement not in a cockpit, for example, I feel like it's just not a good experience. Your brain does not like the legs not moving, but I'm moving forward thing. I get really sick when it comes to that. Like when I played Minecraft and other things. So I think the games that are really strong with VR, Elite Dangerous would be one of those. Flight Simulator. Cockpit games or games where you stand still. I think that right there limits you to what games can be on that platform. And I think that when you limit what kind of games are going to be good on that platform, I think it becomes not a place where you can just play all your games on it. It becomes a party trick. Not a party trick. It becomes a niche, not for everybody type gaming platform. And I think that's inherent to what it is. It goes over your eyes, and it's not a matter of the games being whatever they are. It's a matter of, for the game to be fun and not get me sick, I feel like you have to stand still, and I think that limits you from any shooter. I think it limits you from it. You can do racing games, and I bet it's phenomenal in racing games. But those kind of games, I feel like it limits, and because of that alone, I think it's not going to be the go-to platform that people would probably want. Most people would probably want to be able to play all their games on this device or on this and this.
Yeah.
If you get like the Omni treadmill so you can run around, I've seen those. That defeats...
Those are cool.
Those are super cool, but rather expensive.
The price might come down, though. Yeah,
For-
might be affordable
like-
one day.
For like a real Omni treadmill?
Yeah. I mean, at one time, big screen TVs were $10,000.
Okay.
Now we all have them.
But I mean, when you compare that to just getting a console,
yeah,
you know,
it's true.
it limits you. So I think VR is not the future of gaming.
Of mass appeal.
Mass appeal gaming, yeah. Personal. That's my thoughts. And so I don't think that's.
Yeah, I think VR is
fair.
super cool, and it's definitely a cool experience. But I do think it will be in that experience category. Just my own personal assessment. I think the future, if it's VR versus AR, for instance, I actually think AR is much stronger.
Yeah,
in the future.
AR is different. I think AR is totally a feasible thing. But But I think that's kind of that could probably just be some cool shades you put on while you play your Xbox.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the struggle is that
When
it
even-
removes you from your current setting, and it's really hard. It's just a lot of struggles
Yeah,
there with
well,
VR. Whereas
even-
AR enhances your current setting. Like, remember they showed off the Microsoft conference. I can't remember what it was, but the Minecraft thing came up out of the table. I think that's more likely to be in the future. The Star Wars chest rather.
Chesticles.
Chesticles.
so-
Uh,
but even Nintendo's been in the AR space for a long time. Do
Look
you
at
remember?
Pokemon.
Well, yeah. Do you remember? I
Pokemon
mean,
is
yeah,
AR.
but even before then, like on the Game Boy, was it Game Boy Advance or it was one of them where you basically scanned a card and then Mario would pop up and you'd play a game with him and it'd be on your table. They've done that with most recently they did the Mario Kart Live where you race the RC
Yeah.
car around your house,
That's
which
a
is
good one.
actually
That was cool.
which is actually really fun. You guys got it for me for my birthday last year.
Tesla should do that with their cars.
Yeah.
But AR's been around a long time, and I think it has more of a mass appeal than VR because of the, like you were saying, the sickness, I guess, that can come with VR.
Agreed. That is a great question, Michael Whitman. Thank you very much for that. We do have a couple super chats. Super Shocker writes in and says, enough of this game developer talk. When can we expect the Xbox stove? We do have the fridge.
Yeah.
Where they're willing to spend a lot of money. Let's get the stove. Let's jump into the appliance arena now.
Yeah.
You can play Xbox on your fridge with those fridge screens. Rescue Rook also left a super chat and says, happy Friday, bros. With PSVR 2 and Oculus, do you see Microsoft bringing the price down on the HoloLens? He said, I tried to buy one for my classroom, or I tried one out for my classroom, but the price of the headset was way too high, $4,500. Yeah, I mean, I think anytime there's a new technology, it's going to be really expensive. And as that technology improves and is able to be mass produced, the price will inevitably go down. The prime example is televisions. It used to be rare. Your rich friends used to have a big screen TV. Now you can get one for $300, and everybody has one in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Thank you very much for that super chat, everybody.
That reminds me of that Back to the Future. What was it, number 1 or 2? Where
That was
he's-
number one. I know exactly what you're
where
saying.
he goes. He said something. He goes, "He's teasing you. They don't have 2 TVs." or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You must be rich.
Yeah, 2 TVs.
Nobody has two
Nobody has
TVs.
2 TVs. That is funny. R51 Gaming. This will be our last question. Thank you, everybody. We got so many questions this week.
Big
It's a
week.
Big week. R51 Gaming writes in and says, with the amount of great games already on Game Pass and even more to release this year, I find it hard to pull the trigger and buy a new game. Last year, I bought some battle passes and in-game items, but only purchased one game on Xbox. That's Hell Let Loose. If you had to pick 1 or 2 games scheduled for release this year to purchase, which would they be?
Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, I'm down. That's my
That's
answer
a no
too.
question.
It's the next one coming out.
That's in a month, right?
End of February.
Yeah. All right.
So
Anything else on your shopping list outside of Elden Ring, Jordan the Man, over the
dude, I'm
next
actually
year?
not even seeing anything past Elden Ring right now. What do we got at the end of this
Pull up
year?
the list.
Yeah, I'm actually just incredibly excited for Elden Ring and what they're doing with the.
I mean, I'm excited for like Starfield, but that's Game Pass.
Yeah, Starfield's Game Pass. A lot of seeing, I don't think we're gonna get Fable this year, but that would be another Game Pass. You think we'll get? I don't think we'll get a Motorsport this year because we just had Forza. Maybe we
might get a
Maybe we get a
Motorsport,
Motorsport
actually.
this year. Actually, we haven't.
It's been a while. They did 2 Horizons.
They did 2
in a row.
Horizons in a row. Yeah. Yeah. What games am I excited? Like I said, I'm blinded by the end of February because
Poker Fraud says Lego Skywalker.
that comes out in April. That I will probably buy because the trailer that came out today was really good. Everybody, Lego Skywalker Saga is coming out on April 5th, I believe. They have a breakdown trailer that's about 6-7 minutes. It's really good. What's cool is you can go through every movie, and what it looks like is every movie is essentially almost a full game. Like it's really crazy how much content they're putting in this
Yeah.
game. If like that's what it looks like right now. We'll see when the game comes out, but
Yeah, we are getting Dying Light 2 as well this year.
yeah, that's coming out at the beginning of February. I might hold off on that one. But no, there's a lot of games coming. Stalker 2 got delayed, but isn't that Game Pass?
Will Stalker 2 be Game Pass?
I think, didn't they announce
Xbox Series X? Yeah, it is Game Pass. That's right.
Yeah, and PC, it's going to be on
And
Game Pass.
Starfield's Game Pass, really.
Starfield's Game Pass as well.
So
I'm actually, I really am excited for Starfield because it's the first new IP from Bethesda in quite some time, and they're doing something different. I mean, it'll probably have your Bethesda feel, open world, but we're going to space, where it's something we haven't done in a while from Bethesda. It's ever. I don't think Bethesda's ever gone to space unless you count the Fortress of Doom.
They shared their city.
The main city, which is really cool. I'm just excited for the universe that's going to be in. But like I said, right now I'm focused on Elden Ring, and
WB is launching Harry Potter. Don't forget.
Yeah, that got delayed, but they still said it's on for 2022.
Yes, we also. So I would purchase that. Hell yeah. Also, Gotham Knights. That one looks interesting. The multiplayer edition of Batman and Beyond.
Maybe Batman Beyond will be in it.
yeah.
And that's basically Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh yeah, that actually might be an interesting game. Kind of, I'd like to see more on it. I know
play
we've
as
seen
Gollum.
a little bit. We've seen a little bit on it. I'd like to see more on it, but that might be like an interesting.
I watched
take.
Lord of the Rings recently, and when you forget, they go back and show Gollum's story, and when they put him on screen, immediately in my head, I think pedophile. Like he just has that look.
Like
so
Gollum or Smeagol.
Smeagol
Or both.
Smeagol.
I mean, to be honest, both.
Smeagol seems like a weird
He
dude.
has that error about him.
Yeah,
He does. He has that. So I don't know how
he
you tell
does
that.
kill his friend.
Right out of the
I
gate.
mean,
Well, they're fishing. That's not a fishing trip you want to go on.
immediately screams pedophile.
Am I wrong?
He drives a van with no windows. You know
Yeah,
he does that.
Alan Wake 2 doesn't have a launch date yet.
No,
but if that comes in
I bet
2022
that's not this year. I would say it's not even next year.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm always right.
You're right. You're right. R51 Gaming. That is a great.
Do you know what's funny,
great question.
David?
Thank
The
you very
fact,
much for writing in.
the things you get out of movies. Like that's
I
what
watched
you
that
come out
scene
with.
and
No,
I
come
thought-
on. I watched that scene.
What?
Pedophile, 100%.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately, that guy's a pedophile. That dude
I thought
is creepy.
I don't want my kids around that guy.
Yeah. I'll be like,
But I'm right. Am I wrong though?
You see
Is
that
is
guy?
Is that observation
I mean,
incorrect?
hey, you see that guy at the park? You were calling the police.
You call the cops on that guy.
Yeah,
it's
he's
so fascinating. Like I get far other things out of certain scenes in movies than
What did you
do.
get out of that scene?
The great camera work, actually. I did not even notice.
I,
Now that you pointed out, you're 100% right.
Yeah, thank you.
funny enough.
He poisons candy.
He poisons candy. He's a
And
weird dude.
He's a weird
He's a
dude.
weirdo.
Yeah. What are
Yeah.
you saying, Jordan?
I actually always wondered why he grabbed the ring the way he did. I thought that was
Oh,
odd.
the grass.
He
Well,
was
because
like,
he's underwater.
"Ugh."
He's underwater. So when you're underwater, you're like grasping at the
I mean,
dirt.
I would have grabbed it.
You can't. No, you can't do that underwater. You're
I
grasping
can.
the whole.
I would
the
like to
whole
put
dirt.
up a science experiment. I
You
bet
would have missed it,
David, how are you the expert at grabbing rings
Yeah.
underwater?
dude. I used to play pool games all the time. You know where you like toss stuff under a thing. It's hard to grab stuff underwater. You like overcompensate.
I think it was for the camera shot. It looks better when you grab it like that than when you grab it like this.
And for everybody listening,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, I did a
grabbing it
full
with his
hand-
fingers
yeah,
versus
let me
a
go
full
wide.
hand.
Yeah, so
Fingers versus a
there's
full hand
the
grab.
Gollum grab, and then there's the
That's the Smeagol grab.
Smeagol grab, and then there's a normal grab of the two fingers,
I can
maybe
see that.
three. But
Didn't the ring change size as well?
it always does.
Yeah,
when
it's,
for its user, but it only has one true master. So
Dang, that
really,
would
it
be
only
nice.
has one true size.
That's next level gold.
Yeah.
Change in size.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
It's always trying to find its way home.
Yeah.
Everybody,
True story.
what a huge week this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't, come join us on Discord. The community is there. It's thriving. Come join us on YouTube, youtube.com/X1Bros. We are dropping a couple videos a week regarding gaming news, long form, if you like that. If you like this, you'll like that. So come and join us. Share with your friends. Come hang out. Have fun. Guys, I'm jumping into Mass Effect. I told you before the show.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad.
Just on the way out, I want to let everybody know I'm jumping into Mass Effect.
Yeah,
Very
starting with the
excited.
first one.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very good.
But I'm just going main quest. You guys advise
Yeah,
me
main
on the
quest
first
and
one.
any side character you're interested in.
Ignore them.
No.
Oh, just
Yeah,
anyone
just
else.
do them. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.